to care for. The Brotherhood is just a group.
And as someone supporting the Egyptian government, Nasser's party, the National Democratic Party of Egypt, the party's, on their platform, one of their main points is that the party believes in the role of the state in creating the appropriate atmosphere for the development process and achieving equilibrium of interest between the individual and the community. The Muslim Brotherhood, as you said, makes up 20% of the government. Yet, in that 20%, they want Sharia to be imposed on the entire country. That's 80% of elected officials, unrepresented by the Muslim Brotherhood. That means, to me, that if you're not with the Muslim Brotherhood, then you are not, you're against them, and you don't believe,
sort of like
and
you
you
guys
don't,
oppress us.
and you don't fear Westernization. And so if you allow the Muslim Brotherhood, a violent group, a group that says that they will attack if you don't believe what they stand for, and if you stand in the way of Islam, to organize, to run, to be a voice in the government, you're disrupting this equilibrium between the interests of an individual and the community. And the community interests are distorted. Egypt will revert back to what it was 700 years ago, and will lose all the progress that it's made.
Which was the golden age of the Ottoman Empire, but that's beyond the point. Roland. I just want Roland to reread his quote there.
If you rise against us or stand in the path of our message, then we are permitted by God to defend ourselves against your injustice, while keeping in mind.
That's all I wanted. There's the quotation. The big thing there was the word defend and injustice. Defend against defend against injustice, and certainly it is inarguable that great injustice has been done to our organization and to the Egyptian people.
You even admitted it.
Yes, and not 5 minutes ago, John said certainly he did not disagree with us that our civil liberties have been denied. And okay, so that's the first thing.
You have to
Hold on. Hold on.
That doesn't make sense.
You have chance to rebut. You have chance to rebut. Hold on.
The first thing is, so when we say that we are allowed to rise against those injustices, that's the same thing that happened in the civil rights movement. That people were being discriminated against, and horrible things would happen to them, and they rose against it and fought it, and they were able to do that, especially in America, because they had the political freedom to do so, because they were able to enact positive legislative change. The Muslim Brotherhood, on the other hand, does not have that opportunity because we are an illegal group. Also, I think it speaks to the conviction of the Egyptian people that 20% of the Egyptian government is Muslim brothers, even though our group is illegal.
And
that the will of the Egyptian people is so strong that they can elect members of a group that have made illegal for the past 50 or so years.
Okay, hold on. We will have one comment each from both sides, and hopefully it's someone that hasn't spoken much. And then after that, I want the debate to be closed off, closing arguments. Okay, one comment.
Can I just say something really quick before we do the final thing?
Okay.
When I say defend, that you take it as a direct attack when someone doesn't believe in what you believe, and that you can defend yourself by
against the injustices. Finish the
September
quotation.
11th could be defending your religion.
It's not part of
Because
the West.
That has nothing.
I mean, it's a
Okay.
connection. It's a similarity.
I mean, that's you.
Okay, so one rebuttal by hopefully someone who hasn't spoken much.
Wait, let me say something as well. And if you argue that the Muslim Brotherhood is, you're arguing that the Egyptian government is the one depriving civil liberties at a ridiculous level.
You are.
If the Muslim Brotherhood was in power in Egypt, do you understand what would happen to women's rights in Egypt? That's 50% of the population versus 20% of the population, deprived of all rights, deprived of
We actually have.
Hold on.
That's entirely wrong, John.
Okay, can
You guys keep interrupting each other.
okay, I will let them rebut, okay? And then the closing argument, okay? Because we don't have much time left.
Okay.
This is rebuttal, the
Okay.
final rebuttal.
So I'm just gonna close now because I feel like we've said everything. we said. So basically, in the 2000 elections, your party won just 32% of the vote, which is certainly not an overwhelming majority not even a majority at all. In March to May 2005, there were nearly 23 protests in Egypt, which is one protest every 3 days, against your government. Over 140,000 people participated in these protests, and nearly 15 government officials did. About 4,000 people were unjustly arrested, and were not charged, and were put into jail. So you guys use force against protests, and we believe that the will of the people is that our party should at least be made a legitimate political party instead of being banned, when all we want to do is follow the Constitution of Egypt, in which Article 2 states that the country has to implement Sharia in the fullest sense. And your government has said that they're going to, but you haven't followed through with it. And we don't believe that it's fair to oppress a political party simply to stay in power, nor is it fair to not follow the Constitution that is the will of the people.
Oh yeah, and just to say that Islam is not an inherently violent religion. I think that it is human that after years and years of violent and shameful oppression, that people will become angry and then violent. Yes, I think the violence that has been committed by Muslims in Egypt has much less to do with any interpretation of the Quran and more to do with how they have been repressed and how the religion has been repressed in the country.
Okay, hopefully by someone who hasn't participated much.
Okay, first of all, let me make it clear, because you seem to think we're against Islam as a whole, when we are just against your extremist sect of Islam. Also, it's inarguable that the Muslim Brotherhood has committed terrorist acts. They've assassinated and attempted to assassinate multiple Egyptian prime ministers, which is a terrorist act. Like, can't argue that. They've also spawned terrorist groups, which is also another inarguable fact, including Al-Qaeda and Hamas.
It's not true.
It is true. They follow your basic principles. They originate from the Muslim
Basic
Brotherhood.
principles mean if I close Islam, then sure, they do that.
Also, you mentioned the mass jailings, and although Anwar Sadat freed the Muslims that were in jail, they tried to assassinate him afterwards, which just proves that they're violent even when injustice is not happening.
And on a side note, to America,
okay.
I would like to state that the Muslim Brotherhood agrees with Ahmadinejad's statements about the Holocaust. And I think as Israel
Why
is
take
one,
out of context?
as
Please don't quote
I can bring that for you if you'd like. I'm arguing on behalf of. Do you want us? Let's think about the problems that are posed for you.
Hold
And I
on.
think that if a group denouncing the Holocaust and questioning the scope, I can read the aspect for you. Egyptian Brotherhood leader Mahmoud Mahdi Akif has denounced what he called the exaggeration of the Holocaust in defending Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, who believes that the Jewish Holocaust should be studied by an impartial group to attain more realistic figures and statistics of the historical event. So, do you really want another group to be allowed to convene that has such ridiculous and inarguable ideas about the Holocaust, the most tragic event to happen in my people's history as a Jew? That offends me, as well as the fact that I don't think that as a Western country and as an educated country, you should support a group that's so has no basis for some of the things that they're stating.